Welcome to Spectrum News within the week, a recap of major stories. I am Uyai Aniaka and coming to you live from Uyo, the capital city of Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria. Let's take a look at the headlines. President Tinubu celebrates Supreme Court verdict on 2023 presidential election. IG orders treatment of gunshot victims before police report. Plus, former Chinese Prime Minister Li Keqiang dies of heart attack. We will bring you details of these stories and more in a moment. First in the news within the week, President Bola Tinubu welcomed the verdict of Justice John Okoro-led panel of the Supreme Court on the presidential election petition filed by the candidates of the People's Democratic Party and the Labour Party, challenging the ruling of the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal. Tinubu, in an interview with newsmen, said the court has done justice to all issues put up for consideration in the petitions on the merits of the law without fear or favor. The president noted that with the profound judgment of Thursday, the electoral jurisprudence and constitutional democracy are further consolidated and embedded more indelibly in the nation's national identity. He added that the victory has further energized and strengthened his commitment to continue to serve all Nigerians of all political persuasions, tribes, and faiths with honor and total respect for the diverse opinions and uniting values of Nigerians. In another development, former President Goodluck Jonathan said that Nigeria must move forward. Jonathan stated this in Abuja after meeting with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to congratulate him on his victory at the Supreme Court. Tinubu defeated the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Atiku Abubakar, and his counterpart, Peter Obi, of the Labour Party, after the Supreme Court on Thursday delivered judgment on the appeals they filed to challenge the Presidential Election Tribunal Court's PEPC verdict that upheld Tinubu's victory in the February 25, 2023 election. However, reacting to the Supreme Court verdict, Jonathan, who is a symbol of democracy and peace in Africa, opined that elections are over, urging all political leaders to come together to move the country forward. Away from that, the federal government within the week said it welcomed the judicial victory of President Bola Tinubu by the Supreme Court with a call on Nigerians to endure the pains of its ongoing reforms. The government commended the judiciary for the painstaking work and for rising to the occasion in fulfillment of their constitutional mandate as the final arbiters of electoral proceedings. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, at a press conference in Abuja, called on Nigerians to put the election matters behind them and join hands with the government to tackle the myriads of challenges confronting the nation. According to Idris, the government is putting together arrangements for a national discourse that would heal national wounds and unite the country. Meanwhile, the federal government on Friday commenced steps aimed at expanding the coverage of the school feeding program to accommodate children in military schools, paramilitary schools, out-of-school children, and children in emergency settings to reach universal coverage by 2025. The federal government renewed Hope National Homegrown School Feeding and End Hunger Program is currently feeding over 53,000 schools and 9.9 million pupils in 35 states and the Federal Capital Territory FCT. Anjo Bande, National Program Manager of RH NHGSF EHP, made this known at the launching of the School Feeding Program Global Alliance for Improved Nutrition Gain. Ends Hand project in Abuja, where she affirmed that the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Better Edu, and the National Coordinator, National Social Investment Program Agency, SIPA, Halima Shehu, have expressed their unflinching support for the partnership with GAIN. According to her, the National Homegrown School Feeding Program is prioritized by the Minister and then SIPA boss Obande, while adding that the introduction of the GAIN NSAD project is to improve and expand beneficiaries of the program. In the meantime, the Minister of State for Steel Development, Magari Amadu, said the federal government is set to revamp the country's steel sector to enhance the economy, create employment opportunities, and speed up industrialization. Amadu stated this during a familiarization visit to the Anambra State Governor, Chukwuma Soludo, at the Governor's Lodge, Amawa, Oka area of the state. He pointed out that he recognizes the state as a cluster of industrial development in the country. The minister, who had earlier conducted round facilities at the Meteorological Training Institute in Onitsha, expressed optimism that both the federal and state governments would help scale up interest in skills acquisition and liaise with the institute as a way to eradicate poverty. He revealed that the visit was the first facility tour he would be embarking on under his watch, saying that it was a result of a carefully planned agenda. Elsewhere, the Minister of State for Health and Social Welfare, Dr. Tunji Alausa, said that the federal government is willing to support the Lagos state government to ensure more affordable and accessible healthcare service delivery to its residents. Dr. Alausa made the pledge when he paid a courtesy visit to the Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu at the Lagos House in Lagos State. A statement by the Director of Media and Public Relations at the Federal Ministry of Health, Patricia Dawosi, quoted the minister saying that what they have is not working the way it should. Meanwhile, Governor Sanwo-Olu assured the minister of the willingness and readiness of Lagos State to collaborate with the federal government in areas of expertise to help complement what is being done in the state. Moving over now to the Red Chambers, the Senate on Friday said that it would invite the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited over the lack of funds to explore and develop new frontiers. The Senate, through the Chairman Committee on Gas, Jaribe, made this known on Friday while briefing the press after a closed-door session with the Chief Executive Officer of Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, Benga Komolafe, and his team. According to reports, the Petroleum Industry Act 2021 introduced the Frontier Exploration Fund to support exploration and development in Nigeria's frontier aggregates. These areas include regions like Anambra, Dahomey, Bida, Sokoto, Chad, and Benue, where hydrocarbon exploration is yet to occur or remains undeveloped. In the meantime, the Senate within the week urged President Bola Tinubu to implement the recommendations of the Presidential Committee for the Development of a Comprehensive Plan of Action Against Flooding. The Senate resolution followed the adoption of a motion by Senator Mukala Biru of Lagos East Senatorial District. The Senate also directed the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to send relief materials to the victims of the flood in the affected communities in Lagos and Ogun states. It urged the federal government to convene a stakeholders meeting to x-ray the recurring situation of floods across the country to proffer a lasting solution. Meanwhile, the Senate Committee Chairman on Water Resources, Abdulaziz Yari, on Friday expressed commitment of the 10th Senate to legislate and undertake oversight functions on water projects across the country to ensure clean water for Nigerians. Yari spoke at the inaugural meeting of his committee, saying the Parliament executive and other stakeholders would collaborate to deliver clean water in line with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal, SDG number 6. The chairman, who represents Zamfara West Senatorial District, noted that the committee under his leadership will provide the federal government with the necessary support to ensure that water for sanitation and hygiene wash is provided for Nigerians. Elsewhere, the Senate on Friday mandated its committees on petroleum upstream, downstream and gas to conduct a holistic investigation into the implementation of the Petroleum Industry Act (PIA) with regard to the potential exit of international oil companies IOCs from Nigeria. It passed the resolution following its consideration of a motion on the urgent need for an inquiry into implementation of the Petroleum Industry Act (PIA) 2021 with regards to the potential exit of international oil companies IOCs from Nigeria, sponsored by Senator Ania Kanbasi of Akwa Ibom Northeast Senatorial District. Leading debates on the motion, Senator Basi noted that the discovery of gas and oil in commercial quantities in Nigeria led to the entry of international oil companies IOCs in Nigeria with the intention of advancing the sector's exploration, development and production. He lamented the lack of clear implementation plans for circumstances like the current trend of IOC exits, as well as the PIA's failure to address issues that concern the protection of the interests of the host communities, producing state and the federal government in a comprehensive manner, or to offer assurances for the handling of similar situations in the future. Now to the Green Chambers. The House of Representatives within the week resolved to intervene in the lingering disagreement between the federal government and the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, over unpaid 8-month salary. The resolution was a sequel to a unanimous adoption of a motion by the member representing Enugu State, Paul Namiche, and co-sponsored by Aminu Jaji of Zamfara, Julius Ihovere of Edo, and Lilian Orogbu of Anambra State at plenary. Moving the motion, Namichi said university lecturers play a crucial role in the education system by providing knowledge, guidance, and mentorship to future leaders. In his ruling, the Speaker of the House, Tajuddin Abbas, mandated committees on university education, finance appropriation, labor and productivity, and legislative compliance to interface with ASU and the federal government. He charged the committee to resolve the 8 months outstanding salary of lecturers following the no work, no pay policy and report back within 2 weeks for further legislative actions. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives on Friday responded to public criticism regarding its ever-expanding number of standing committees, which has reached 134, even in the face of economic challenges affecting the country. Appointed by the House Speaker Tajuddin Abbas in June, the 134 committees had been tasked with managing the affairs of the 10th House of Representatives. The chairman of the House Committee on Media and Public Affairs, Akin Rotimi, while addressing concerns on potential duplication of functions among the committees, emphasized that the Speaker's decision to form 134 House's weekly press briefings with parliamentary reporters, emphasizing the importance of transparency in the leadership of the 10th Assembly. In another development, the Acting Inspector General of Police, Olukayode Egbetokun, on Friday ordered the compulsory treatment of gunshot victims without police reports. The directive was contained in a police internal memo signed by the Force Principal Staff Officer Olatunji Disu. The memo, was addressed to all Deputy Inspectors General of Police, Assistant Inspectors General of Police, Commissioners of Police, and the Commandants of Police Colleges in Ikeja, Kaduna, Oji River, Maiduguri, and Enugu. The directive, Egbetokun said, was in line with the Compulsory Treatment and Care of Victims of Gunshots Act 2017. In a separate development, the Chairman, National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, Brigadier General Buba Mawa, said that the agency has seized more than 6,668 tons of illicit substances in 2 years. Mawa said this while responding to the request for partnership and deployment of more NDLEA personnel to all parts of Katsina by Governor Diko Rada. According to a statement by the Director of Media of the NDLEA, Femi Babafemi, Mawa said more than 36,096 suspects had been arrested and more than 6,043 are already prosecuted and convicted within the same period. He noted that the drug menace was a huge issue that had destroyed the lives of several Nigerian youths and communities. Away from that, the Sokoto State Election Petition Tribunal, sitting in Sokoto on Friday, affirmed the election of Senator Aliyu Matakarda Wamako of Sokoto North Senatorial District, and 2 other House of Representative members, Abu Samad representing Tambiwal and Kibe, and Bala Hassan Abubakar, APC representing Sokoto North, Sokoto South federal constituencies. In its ruling, the tribunal dismissed the petition of the People's Democratic Party challenging the victory of Senator Aliyu Magatkalda Wamako of the APC. The tribunal said the petitioner, People's Democratic Party, and its candidate, Benia Mohammed, failed to prove its case beyond reasonable doubt and, however, dismissed the petition. The tribunal dismissed 2 more petitions against the elections of Abdusamad Dasuki, PDP, and of Bala Hassan Abubakar of the APC. In another development, the Anambra State government within the week initiated efforts to automate its budget processes for the 2024 fiscal year. The move follows Governor Chukwuma Soludo's resolve to digitize the state. A press release from the Anambra State ICT agency, which was made available to journalists in Oka, said the agency has initiated a drive to speed up the configuration of official emails for state workers to ease interaction. Chukwuemeka Fred Agbata, the managing director of the agency, in the statement said to ensure the full digitization of the state as envisioned by the governor, that the state government has developed software for the full digitization, with ministries, departments and agencies expected to turn in their proposals and defend same all digitally. He said the configuration exemplifies Soludo's resolve to digitize the budget process in Anambra and also improve service delivery. In Kano State, Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf on Friday presented a budget estimate of 350 billion naira for the 2024 fiscal year to the State House of Assembly. The governor said the proposed appropriation bill titled Budget of Restoration and Transformation will change the narrative in Kano. Presenting the budget estimate to the lawmaker, Yusuf promised to block leakages. Yusuf said out of the total estimated budget of 350.2 billion naira, the sum of 215.8 billion marked projects, while the sum of for expenditure. A breakdown of the proposed budget shows education received the highest allocation with 95.3 billion naira. Works got 40.4 billion naira, physical planning 5.1 billion, transport 4.8 billion, while agriculture was allocated 11 billion naira. In the same vein, water resources was allocated 13.4 billion naira, while women and youths got 8.9 billion naira. The governor noted that his government is focusing on human capital development, promoting the general welfare of Kano residents, security, healthcare, food security, and job creation, among others. Back here on the home front, Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Omoino within the week congratulated President Bola Tinubu on his affirmation by the Supreme Court as the duly elected President of Nigeria. while also reaffirming his support for the President Tinubu-led federal government. Governor Eno, who was speaking during a thank you meeting with Christian leaders in the state at the banquet hall, Government House, Uyo, reassured of his commitment to lead a united and prosperous Akwa Ibom to justify the confidence the entire people of the state reposed on the senatorial election. According to the governor, although Akwa Ibom State is led by the opposition party, the said was need to link with the government at the center to draw developments to the state. Governor Eno clarified that amid hardship occasioned by the ongoing economic challenges across the nation, his administration remains committed to ensuring that Akwa Ibom people as a collective receive optimum value for revenue that accrues to the state. The governor used the occasion to appreciate them for their sacrifices, support and contributions to his success before, during and after the electioneering period, pledging that he will not disappoint them. He therefore urged the state chairman of the Christian Association of Nigeria, Bishop Christian Young, to form a reconciliation committee to ensure that other church members and leaders, irrespective of who they supported during the elections, are brought together under one umbrella to build a united Christian body, while restating that Akwa Ibom is one and has grown beyond any divisive tendencies. The governor assured the religious leaders that the recent issues surrounding the traditional ruler's law will be settled amicably. He also urged the church leadership to encourage members to be involved in democracy as a means to ensuring the emergence of good government and consequently their chances at good welfare, therefore acquainting them of the need for faith-based cooperative societies and non-governmental organization (NGO) to draw support from government and international organizations. Earlier, the state's chairman of the Christian Association of Nigeria had commended Governor Eno for appreciating their role contributions to his emergence as the state leader. He applauded the governor for his leadership style while assuring him of their unflinching support to the success of his administration. Government House correspondent Jane Owa reports that the event also featured exhortation by Dr. Enobo Esien of Gospel Foundation Ministries Etinan, with messages of goodwill from Reverend Father Emmanuel Efiok of the Catholic Church, Archbishop Emmanuel Udofia of the Methodist Church Nigeria, and Archbishop Emilia Samuel of She Priesthood International Ministries, among others. Meanwhile, residents of Uyo, the Akwa Ibom state capital, have reacted to organized labor's proposed strike scheduled for October 30. Recall that the organized labor had on 24th of October expressed dissatisfaction with the slow pace of implementation of the Memorandum of Understanding it signed with the federal government to avert its planned nationwide strike. Speaking with Spectrum Television, they urged the organized labor to choose dialogue and not strike, as this will hamper growth in the economy. Our correspondent Blessing Dixon completes the story.
The organized labor has threatened to go on a nationwide strike starting from October 30th if the resolutions signed in the MOU are not met. Recall that the unions had threatened to declare nationwide strike on October 3rd, but the move was suspended on the condition that the wage award, cash transfer, and some other resolutions must be implemented within 30 days, effective from the day the Memorandum of Understanding was signed. Labour has said only a handful had been implemented by the government. Citizens have reacted to NLC's proposed strike. Let's hear them.
Strike is the last resort of labor to bring their need to bear in the face of the government, their demands, because they don't have weapons like soldiers. So the greatest weapons of labor is strike. I don't subscribe to labor strike. I prefer negotiation.
It's going to bring delay. I don't know. It's going to bring at least academic delay, apart from the one that has already been there. So, as I think the government should look for a way to settle the people. I mean, settle them.
Well, need to support them to go so that the people, the leaders for Nigeria, they will now look for the way to come in and solve to solve the situation, to solve the problems.
Threats abound, and all eyes are on the government. In Uyo, Blessing Dixon, Spectrum Television News.
Still to come in the news. Crypto King admits people were hurt, speaks out in trial. We'll bring you details of this story and more in a moment. Thanks for staying tuned, and now to the rest of the news stories on the news this week. We move to Africa, where Iran's President Ephraim Raisi said that his country is ready to cooperate with Niger in economically beneficial areas. President Raisi made the comment following a meeting with Bakary Yaw, who assumed the role of Niger's Foreign Affairs Minister after a military coup in July. In a statement on the website of the Iranian President, Raisi praised Niger's desire for independence and resistance against the European hegemonic policies, which he said signaled Africa's real transition from colonialism. Niger is the latest African country that Iran was wooed as it seeks to end its international isolation. It would be recalled that in September, President Raisi met the Foreign Minister of Burkina Faso's Junta, Olivia Raumba. During the meeting, they applauded African countries for their resistance in the face of colonialism and terrorism. In July, he visited Kenya, Uganda, and Zimbabwe, marking the first visit by an Iranian president to Africa in more than a decade. Still in Africa, the Sudanese army and its rival paramilitary force within the week resumed peace talks in a new push to end the nearly 7-month conflict between Sudan's warring factions. The Saudi Arabia's foreign ministry in a statement noted that the revived talks between representatives from the Sudanese army led by Abdel Fattah Burhan and the Rapid Support Force paramilitary commander by Mohamed Dagalo are underway in the Saudi coastal city of Jeddah. The statement added that the talks are being brokered by both Riyadh and Washington. Meanwhile, the power distribution firm Ghana Grid Company Limited, Gridco, on Friday said that most parts of Ghana have been plunged into darkness due to a lack of gas to power machinery used to generate electricity in the country. The grid company said the situation has caused a supply gap of 550 megawatts at peak time at Tema power plant near the capital Accra. Reports say Ghana is currently going through its worst economic crisis in a generation. On the foreign scene, Israeli infantry backed by warplanes mounted an incursion deeper into Gaza. The army said on Friday as it readies for a ground offensive against Hamas for the deadliest attack in the country's history. As the conflict raged into its 21st day, there was no let-up in Israel's relentless strikes on the Gaza Strip, with European leaders calling for humanitarian pauses to allow in critically needed aid. Israel has been bombarding the Palestinian territory since Hamas gunmen stormed across the border on October 7, killing 1,400 people, mostly civilians, and kidnapping more than 220 others, according to Israeli officials. So far, Gaza's Hamas-run health ministry says the strikes have killed more than 7,000 people, mostly civilians and many of them children, raising growing calls for protection of innocent people caught in the conflict. With tens of thousands of Israeli troops massed alongside the Gaza border ahead of a widely expected ground offensive, the army said its forces had staged a brief ground incursion into central Gaza. Still on the foreign scene, the International Red Cross Organization on Friday said that a 10-person team of medical staff and experts from the International Committee of the Red Cross ICRC has crossed into Gaza. According to the organization in a statement, a war surgery team and a weapons contamination specialist are among the 10 International Committee of the Red Cross experts who arrived in Gaza. The statement added that the experts entered alongside 6 ICRC trucks carrying urgently needed medical material and water purification supplies. Meanwhile, the European Union Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said that the EU will provide 50 million euros in additional humanitarian aid for Gaza. Speaking at a news conference in Brussels following the first day of the EU Leaders Summit, Leyen said the first 56 metric tons of aid from the Union have already been delivered to Gaza via 2 flights to Egypt. During the conference, the European leaders expressed concern about the deteriorating situation in Gaza and called for aid to reach those in need via humanitarian corridors and pauses for humanitarian needs, as well as a call for a ceasefire. In the meantime, Russia said on Thursday that it had thwarted a Ukrainian drone attack near a nuclear plant in the country's south, where 2 news outlets said an explosion had damaged the facade of a warehouse storing nuclear waste. The defense ministry said air defenses foiled an attempt by the Kiev regime to carry out a terrorist attack when they intercepted a drone late on Thursday near the settlement of Kochakov in the southern region of Kursk. Kochakov is the location of the Kursk nuclear power station, which said in a separate statement that an attempt to attack it with not 1 but 3 drones had been thwarted. It said there were no casualties or damage and that radiation levels were normal and the plant was operating as usual. Elsewhere, former Premier Li Keqiang, China's top economic official for a decade, died on Friday of a heart attack. He was 68. Li was China's #2 leader from 2013 to 2023 and an advocate for private business, but was left with little authority after President Xi Jinping made himself the most powerful Chinese leader in decades and tightened control over the economy and society. Reports say Li had been resting in Shanghai recently and had a heart attack on Thursday. He died at 12:10 a.m. on Friday. Li, an English-speaking economist, was considered a contender to succeed then Communist Party leader Hu Jintao in 2013, but was passed over in favor of Xi. reversing the HU era's consensus-oriented leadership. Xi centralized powers in his own hands, leaving Li and others on the party's ruling 7-member standing committee with little influence. As the top economic official, Li promised to improve conditions for entrepreneurs who generate jobs and wealth, but the ruling party under Xi increased the dominance of state industry and tightened control over tech and other industries. On our business news, former crypto boss Sam Bankman-Fried acknowledged that a lot of people were hurt when the FTX exchange he founded collapsed. In his testimony to the jury at his fraud trial, the former entrepreneur said he had made many mistakes when running the cryptocurrency exchange. The 31-year-old is accused of lying to investors and lenders and stealing money from customers. He has denied those charges, instead arguing that he acted in good faith. Still in business, the Bank of Russia said its key interest rate by 200 basis points to 15% in October 2023 meeting, double of market's expectations of a 100 basis points increase, and signaled that monetary policy will remain elevated for a prolonged period to aid in the fight against high inflation. Inflation is expected to hover above 7% in 2023 before converging to 4% by the end of 2024. The bank also noted that lending growth is invariably high, while rising domestic demand magnifies capacity issues in the Russian economy, as the military's mobilization triggered a labor force crisis, leading to the unbalance between high demand and low supply of goods and services, warranting higher interest rates. Meanwhile, the Naira appreciated by 137 Naira in the parallel market, exchanging at 1,113 Naira per dollar. According to Bureau de Change operators, the currency appreciated reasonably from the 1,250 Naira per dollar it traded on Thursday at the unofficial market. Meanwhile, at the FMDQ exchange, forex trading closed at 837 Naira per dollar on Thursday. The development came barely 24 hours after the Supreme Court affirmed President Bola Tinubu's victory. Meanwhile, the Finance Minister Wale Edun stated that the country would soon receive an inflow of $10 billion in foreign currency to mitigate the forex crisis. Still to come in the news. Adara Bayo set to sign new contract at Fulham. Stay with us for details of this and more after the break.
Business exists only to meet the needs of the people, but there's an extra advantage if your product and services are pitched on a platform that gives you the added advantage over your competitors. For your desired return on investment and so much more, advertise on Spectrum Television, on StarTime's DTH Channel 421 and on free-to-air with a frequency of 12733. Spectrum Television, broadening your horizon.
Every day marks a day of significance.
That in view of the apology tendered by this former minister who had earlier been cleared by this August Assembly,
as we face critical issues, developments and events which shape our social and political landscape here in Nigeria and beyond. Political Spectrum is a program specially designed to help make sense of all the moving parts of developments and occurrences in our nation's polity and political economy.
There is nothing wrong with Nigeria, but there's everything wrong.
The educational history of public figures holds significance beyond mere biographical details.
From executive, legislative and judicial developments at national and subnational levels to international diplomacy and relations.
Join us for exclusive interviews with key political figures, expert opinions, analysts, thought-provoking conversations for and against, shedding light on the major issues that matter. We will always keep you updated on the most factual, smartest and unbiased reportage.
Stay tuned to Political Spectrum. Political Spectrum. All sides matter at the round table. Political Spectrum. Exclusive to Spectrum Television.
Nigerian police, which is the only one allowed by grossly abused. Our governors have to share police powers with the president as stipulated by the Constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigeria Police Force, which shall be administered, organized, and supervised by the Nigerian police.
No, my lord, I want to say something. I want to say something here. Perhaps it might also enlarge the scope of people who should be invited here for examination. My lord, if we cannot find those who literally murdered Abiola, who are those people who could be said to be the beneficiaries of the death of Abiola?
Rogers has linked you with some of the killings he did.
He never did.
He linked you with the attempted murder of Hebrew.
He did not.
My lord, the Matters Council is leading the evidence in our matters.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord, but you can't be talking about cases which are in court,
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord. These cases are in court, my lord. I'm just reminding your lordship.
My lord, sorry, my lord, I think I'll be in cross-examination.
Legally Speaking, a program that deals with legal issues and questions we face as citizens of this amazing country, Nigeria. Legally Speaking. Join us every
Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
for Legally Speaking.
Thanks for staying tuned. Now to complete the news this week. In health, the Minister of State for Health and Social Welfare, Dr. Tunji Alausa, within the week reassured of the federal government's commitment to improving Nigeria's healthcare system. He stated this during his maiden visit to the Nigeria Institute of Medical Research in Lagos. According to him, the federal government would provide sustainable health care that can deliver the best care and services possible to Nigerians. Al-Hausa promised that the issue of inadequate funding and shortage of staff will be addressed to further enhance the capacity of the institute. Still in health, the Nigeria Medical Association, NMA, Federal Capital Territory, said its medical outreach carried out at the Primary Healthcare Karonma Jigi FCT addressed 200 elderly with eye problems and dental cases. The secretary of the association, Dr. Michael Olarewaju, told newsmen in Abuja that the outreach was part of the activities lined up to commemorate the 2023 Physicians Week. He said the period was also a time for the association to look out for each other, identify issues of common interest, and also use the opportunity to conduct a medical outreach. According to him, the association will use the time to render selfless service to the less privileged, especially the elderly. In sports, Tosin Adarabayo is set to sign a new contract at the Premier League club Fulham. Adarabayo rejected a new contract from the Contagers in June. League One club Monaco also had an €8.5 million bid for the defender, snubbed by Fulham in August. According to the Standard, the centre-back could now start dialogue with the London club. The 26-year-old can sign a pre-contract agreement with clubs overseas from January 1st. Meanwhile, the Nigerian-born defender is currently recuperating from a groin surgery. Adarabayo joined Fulham from Manchester City in 2020. Still in sports, Bayern Munich and Germany goalkeeper Manuel Neuer is set to return to action. More than 10 months after he suffered a broken leg, Neuer, 37, sustained the injury while skiing in December 2022 and returned to team training in late September, having last featured for Bayern against his old club Schalke on 12 November last year. Neuer's return to partial training was delayed because of complications with his recovery from the lower leg fracture. A World Cup winner with Germany in 2014, Neuer's injury occurred soon after the national team's disappointing Qatar 2022 campaign. Meanwhile, Manchester United goalkeeper Andre Onana says no action should be taken against Alejandro Garnacho for using gorilla emojis in a social media post. United forward Garnacho, 19, put the emojis with a photo of him and Onana celebrating the Cameroonian saving an injury time penalty against Copenhagen. United manager Erik ten Hag said he was not concerned about a ban for Garnacho in this moment. Reports say Argentina international Garnacho published the post after Onana's save from the spot secured a vital 1-0 win on Tuesday, with breathed new life into United's Champions League campaign. Meanwhile, the Football Association FA is aware of the social media post and has asked for Garnacho's observation. On our entertainment news, popular gospel musician Mercy Chinwo on Thursday welcomed her first child with her pastor husband, Blessed. Confirming the news, the gospel singer shared a music video of her rocking her baby bump as she praised her creator for the new addition. She stated that they are grateful to him as he has filled their hearts with joy and their lips with testimonies. Without specifying the baby's gender, many predict the bundle of joy to be a boy. Still on entertainment, winner of BB Niger All-Stars Ilebayi on Friday explained what her coping mechanism was on the show following her regular disagreements with housemates. In a recent interview with Chudi, Ilebayi candidly discussed how she felt after the incident with Ike in the BB Niger house. The 22-year-old model expressed deep sadness and a sense of unworthiness. She questioned why she deserved such treatment and wished for better communication. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives on Friday summoned singer Aziz Fashola, popularly known as Naira Marley, to appear before it. This comes as part of efforts to address concerns surrounding the works of the late singer Ireluwa Aloba, popularly known as Mohbad, and ensure that his rights are upheld. The House, through its Committee on Justice, Youth and Legislative Compliance, also invited Jigi Adeoye, Mohbad's manager. The invitation to Mohbad's manager is to enable the lawmakers to have an interactive session. This comes as a bold step towards securing a proper compensation and royalties for the late music sensation. Lastly, in the news within the week, Nigerian singer Rema earned 6 nominations from the 2023 Billboard Music Awards. The Nigerian star earned nominations for Top Afrobeat Artist, Top Radio Song, Top Collaboration, Top Billboard Global 200 Song, Top Billboard Global, and Song Top Afrobeat Song. And that's all we have for you at this time. Do well to follow us on social media. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. All of it you can find on our website, spectrumtv.ng. This has been the news this week, a recap of major stories. My name is Uyai Aneka. Thanks for watching, and I do hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. God bless you.